Hey, NFL fans, draft week is here. We're just 4 days away from the 2020 NFL draft, and we'll be live for all 7 rounds here on Chat Sports. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already by hitting that big red subscribe button and turn on notifications so you know when every video hits the channel and you never miss a video, whether it's live or not. So go ahead and turn on noties and subscribe to Chat Sports. All right, today's video is Leonard Fournette trade destinations. Over the weekend, we saw the report from Adam Schefter that Jacksonville has had discussions with other teams about possibly trading the young running back. Fournette is entering the 4th season of his career. Jacksonville has not yet opted into his 5th-year option. They have until May 4th to do so. So the clock is ticking on that. Could trading Fournette be an option, maybe even during the NFL draft? I think that is very much a possibility. He is coming off the best year of his career in terms of rushing yards, over 1,100 yards. Did catch 76 passes last year as well. Now, he's never going to be a guy that's averaging 10 yards a catch. It's more dump downs and stuff like that. But he did show that he is a better pass catcher than maybe a lot of us initially thought in 2019. So certainly a good running back, stayed healthy for the first time in his career as well. So keep that in mind. Should the Jaguars trade Leonard Fournette? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Clearly they're rebuilding. They've traded a lot of players already. They're trying to get draft assets. Could trading the young running back be an option? Type Y if you think it's a yes, type N if you think it's a no. So let's go through my top 5 destinations here, starting with the Miami Dolphins. I've got them at number 5. Now, Miami's an interesting team because they have a ton of draft capital this year, so they could trade, a 3rd-round pick or something like that. We'll look at a trade package here in a second. They did sign Jordan Howard to a 2-year, $11 million deal, but I think Fournette's a better running back, at least at this point in his career. Howard hasn't been as good the past couple of seasons. Miami's been willing to spend, as we've seen this offseason, so trading Fournette and signing him to an extension could be a possibility. It seems like they're trying to get back into a win-now mode in the next couple of seasons. This is what they got on the depth chart as of now. I mentioned Jordan Howard, Kalen Ballage, decent 1-2 punch there. Myles Gaskin on the roster as well as our Patrick Laird and Samaje Perine, but they don't really have that true, running back one. Howard, he's a placeholder. He can do that. I don't think he's, what he was in Chicago, though, a couple of years ago. I think Fournette would certainly be an upgrade from Jordan Howard. So here's my proposal. Very simple. 3rd-round pick, number 70 overall for Leonard Fournette. I think that's about the range you're going to get for him because he's not a dynamic pass catcher. Even though he's a little better than we thought, teams don't spend high on running backs anymore, unless it's a Christian McCaffrey type who's going to catch 100 balls a year and over 1,000 yards receiving. Leonard Fournette's not that. He's a good runner. He does have injury concerns, though, so I think a 3rd-round pick makes for some sense for the Jaguars running back. Pick a running back. Is it Jordan Howard or Leonard Fournette? Who would you rather have? Howard's probably going to be cheaper in the long run, so type H for Howard or type F for Fournette. Howard's been more durable as well in his career. I'm still typing my F, though, for Leonard Fournette. Before we get to some other teams here, some outside of the top 5 teams, in my opinion, fits for Fournette. Seattle, they've got Rashad Penny and Chris Carson, but they're both coming off injuries, and Fournette fits the mold of the type of running backs they like, so that can make some sense. Detroit, Kerryon Johnson got hurt last year. He hasn't been exactly what they had hoped. They've been looking for a good running back for a while. The Patriots, how about, adding a good 3-down backup there after losing Tom Brady? Don't have a ton of cap space, but they could move some things around. Philadelphia, they've got some young pieces in that backfield, including Miles Sanders, but they lost Jordan Howard. That could be an option. And then the Kansas City Chiefs as well. I don't think they'll trade for him, but he would clearly be an upgrade from what they have at the running back position. Let's move to my number 4 team, though, the Los Angeles Rams. I would have them higher. The problem is they have negative $6 million in cap space right now. So they would have to move a lot of contracts around to make this work. Fournette's cap hit is like $8 million or so this year, but it's only a team trading for him would only have to eat about 4 of it because his dead cap is about $4 million. So not a ton, but when you have negative 6, obviously you have to make some things work. Todd Gurley's been released. We all know that. He ended up in Atlanta. The Rams need a running game to maximize Jared Goff. I think that was proven last year. Gurley wasn't the same guy, and Goff was not effective. So Malcolm Brown, Darrell Henderson, it's, running back to 1A, 1B right there. I put Malcolm Brown as the starter. He's been there longer, but they really don't have a starting running back on this roster. Maybe Henderson becomes that, the draft pick from last year out of Memphis, but he was a little bit inconsistent in the reps he did get last season. So here's my trade idea. I don't think they'll trade Henderson because they just drafted him. So how about this? Leonard Fournette and a 6th-round pick to the Rams for Malcolm Brown to help replace Fournette in Jacksonville, and a 3rd-round pick number 104. I think this trade could work. The Rams upgrade at running back, and the Jaguars move up about 100 spots in the NFL draft. That could be an option. Jacksonville may want a little bit more here, but again, running backs just don't fetch a lot via trade these days unless, it's a Christian McCaffrey type. So I think that could be an option there. What's also an option and should be an option is buying a draft hat. We're just 4 days away from the draft, so why not rep your squad and get an NFL draft hat for your favorite team? The styles are a lot better this year. We have them in very different looks. We got the flat bill, we got the curved bill style as well, fitted, non-fitted, snapback, whatever you want, we got it. Go to chatsports.com/NFL draft hat and purchase today. The link will be in the comments. It'll be in the description. Like I said, almost every single NFL team has released their draft hat. So go to that link, chatsports.com/NFL draft hat. All right, let's get into the top 3 here. The Buffalo Bills, who are in win now mode, especially after trading for Stephon Diggs. We know how good that defense is. How about getting another piece on that offense in the backfield next to Josh Allen? I think it makes sense. Devin Singletary is a good player. Is he ready to be, the Bills starter 3-down running back? I'm not so sure. And like I said, Buffalo's in win now mode. I think their moves the past 18 months have proven that with the pieces they've added on defense and invested in and on offense. Devin Singletary, TJ Yeldon, they're decent pieces. They're rotation guys. Yeldon didn't do much last year, though. Frank Gore had a bigger role on this team. Christian Wade's on the roster as well. But they don't, Fournette is clearly an upgrade here. I like Singletary. I think he would, be their 3rd down back, catch the football a lot. It would make TJ Yeldon expendable. But I do think Leonard Fournette would be a good running back for this offense and would take some pressure off of Josh Allen. They could be like the Jags a few years ago when Jacksonville made it to the AFC title game with Blake Bortles and just ran the football and played defense. I think that could be a route for Buffalo. I think they're building their roster that way. So we'll see if they pull the trigger on a Fournette trade. If they do, how about something like this, similar to the last trade? A Fournette for a Yeldon swap, plus the Jaguars upgrade from a 6th to a 3rd-round pick. I think that's about the range. Yeldon obviously played in Jacksonville for a few years, so they're familiar with him. They could bring him back. He could be their placeholder running back for 2020, and they could upgrade to a 3rd-round pick in the process and continue to get some draft capital. Who do you guys think wins this trade? Type J for Jacksonville, type B for Buffalo. It's close. I'll go with Buffalo because they're in win now mode, and Fournette would help that offense. But if the Jaguars want to get good higher draft picks, they should certainly consider this as well. What you guys should consider is subscribing to the channel. I told you guys earlier, I'm going to remind you guys right now, draft coverage starts Thursday, just 4 days away. We're going to be live for all 7 rounds. You see Mitch and Tom on screen. I'm going to be involved in the on-air process as well. We'll have you guys covered for all 7 rounds. We're not going to take any breaks. We're going to cover every single pick and break down every pick and have videos as well, draft grades, all kinds of stuff. So turn on notifications and never miss a video here on Chat Sports. Let's get into the top 2 here. The Chargers, another LA team. Obviously, they lost Melvin Gordon in free agency. They let him go. They called his bluff during the season. They let him hold out. They just weren't going to invest in him. Could they invest in Fournette? I think they're kind of in the same tier of running backs. Fournette's younger. He's got a little less tread on, wear down on the tires. I think him and Eckler would be a good 1-2 punch. They don't have a proven quarterback. Todd Taylor, they're kind of like Buffalo in the sense where their defense is set. They've got decent pieces on offense, but the quarterback is questionable. Could they run the football and play a lot of defense and take that to the playoffs? Maybe. I don't know if just Austin Eckler is going to get that done, though. He's more of your receiving running back. Justin Jackson's shown some nice things in the past, but I do think they need to add a running back of some sort since they only have 2 on the roster. Why not add Leonard Fournette and have that 1-2 punch of Fournette being your runner and Eckler being your receiver? I think it makes sense. I think it would give the Chargers a dynamic look in the backfield and take a lot of pressure off Tyrod Taylor if he does end up being their starting quarterback. So Jacksonville gets the number 71 overall pick early in the third round for Leonard Fournette. I think, again, it's about the range. That's what the first trade package looked like when we did it for Miami. I don't think you're going to get a second or a first for Leonard Fournette. I think you're going to get a third-round pick in the end. So I think that's a fair trade. If Jacksonville's set on getting more draft capital, I think they will have to accept that he's only going to get a third-round pick, and his stock is probably never going to be higher than it is right now. All right, we've talked about both LA teams for Fournette. What is a better fit? Do you think it's the Rams? Do you think it's the Chargers? Type LAR for Rams, type LAC for the Chargers. Go ahead and let me know down in the comment section. That brings us to our top team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think this is a no-brainer. They're all in. I mean, when you trade for 42, or when you sign 42-year-old Tom Brady, you're all in on this year. He's their quarterback. They've got loaded receivers with Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, some other pieces. We'll see what they do with O.J. Howard. He continues to be linked to trades. But I just think this makes a lot of sense. They need a true runner on this offense. I think last year showed that without a good running game at this point in his career, Tom Brady's not what he was 5 years ago when you don't even need a running game. You can just throw it 50 times a game. Like, you need to be balanced with Tom Brady. And I don't think Ronald Jones can carry the load for Tampa Bay. They lost Peyton Barber in the offseason, so their depth took a hit as well. This just makes sense to me. Like, if you're going to go all in and go get Leonard Fournette to put on this offense. I was surprised when they didn't go after Melvin Gordon in free agency or Todd Gurley. You got a second chance now. You can go trade for Leonard Fournette, and I think a package could look something like this. Mid-third round pick, throw in a sixth-round pick as well if you're desperate enough, if you're Tampa Bay, to get your running back to pair with Mike Evans, with Chris Godwin, with Tom Brady, with that offense. I think that would be one of the more balanced offensive attacks in the NFL. It makes sense. Go all in, Tampa Bay. Where do you guys think Leonard Fournette will play next season? You can answer Jacksonville. That is obviously still a possibility. It's not like they've moved him yet. But go ahead, comment down below. I'd love to see him in Tampa Bay. I think it'd be very entertaining. As far as official predictions, I'll probably say sticking with Jacksonville, but I hope that he gets moved and plays for a contender. So just to recap, these are the 5 teams. Miami at number 5, the Rams at number 4, Buffalo Bills the number 3 team, the Chargers at number 2, and the Bucs at number 1. Possible Leonard Fournette trade destinations. We'll see what happens over the next few days.